Welcome, welcome, one and all. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for showing up. My goodness, it is Sunday. It is Sunday, April 6th, 2025. Can you believe that you and I are still alive? And during such a volatile times, during such a time of event and attitude and conveyance of opinion. My God, my goodness. As you probably know, I stay pretty active on social media. If you don't follow my show, which I hope you do, I encourage you to go to Facebook, find me, just look up Doug Rice or the phonetic thing of my name, the phonetic spelling, I believe is the correct term, Dugryce. That's Doug Rice, spelled phonetically. And of course, my four-letter worded name, both back and front, or sometimes an added four-letter word is added in there, a little profane reference. And if you really want to be entertained by what I do, when I do, please go to Twitter, currently known as X, and appropriately so named as, let me tell you, it is a vulgar, pornographic mental site of white caucasity that will literally stretch the bounds of your belief. The hatred and malevolence that is put upon the world in that platform. Go to X, search me at Dugryce as well. And of course, I do have the Gram, Dugryce, the Gram. And as well as Threads. I got Threads as well. Threads is pretty good. And I kind of I juxtapose Threads against X, formerly known as Twitter. X is a right-wing white nationalist super haven for these Klansmen that love to gather together and commiserate against Negroes. And of course, we have Threads, which has become the bipolar opposite of that structure, being a haven for Negroes that are able to voice their opinions and get it all out. I do thank you, each and every one, for being here today. And I am certainly glad you are here to hear what I have to say, because I got to say a lot. And again, if you want to know what I do, if you want to know my writing style, go to Medium as well and peruse there a while. Medium is a writer's haven, and I write there. Usually post what I write before I narrate what I write, which has been my new practice. I thank you one and all for being here. I thank you profusely. I thank you gushingly. I thank you especially for this day because, boy, I got a lot to say. Have you seen them today? Are they in their funky little goddamn feelings? Oh, yes, they are. Why? Why, pray tell? Why are they inherently so deep in their feelings today? Because one of us, a few days ago, one of our youth, one of our children, one of our students, one of our young Negro princes decided that he would not be the victim of a pair of bullies who decided that they would determine where he sits. And after giving fair warning and after parlaying that warning into the perfection of something along the line of, don't fuck with me, white boy. One of them pushed the envelope of that narrative and decided to touch him, decided to break his phone, decided to call him the N-words, and decided not to leave him alone. And for his troubles, he got his life taken. Tragically, of course, at such a young age. But the proclivity toward these young demons that they are raising gives precedent to that kind of ending. And end he did in his brother's arms. I take no joy in the death of any man, none, not a single one. I don't want to see any person suffer. I don't want to see anyone die. But for God's sakes, get your children under control. Today, we're going to be going over the precedent of today's show shortly. We're also going to delve into the nuances of what has occurred, and we are going to ask and answer the question that you see scrolling below. Can Black people be safe in America? The answer is no. We're not going to tips around and go through the entire show to come to the conclusion that we all know is right in front of our goddamned eyes. Oh, there'll be some profanity today, I do surmise. We're going to get into it, folks, because if you haven't been following me on the Twitter, on the X, on the profane, profusely caucastic, caucanized, crackerized platform of right-wing white nationalism that is Twitter, that Elon Musk has turned into a safe haven for the expression of these Neanderthal, Edomite, heathen motherfuckers. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You need to go and see what they're talking about because they are on fire. And you know, when they get on fire and they start running their goddamn mouths reckless, well, I jump right on in because the water is warm. And I give them a taste and a little bit of my form. And let me tell you something, I shut mouths. I shut their goddamned mouths. And they parlay with me in some sense for a little while until they realize they can't get hold of my style. And of course, as we know, folks, that makes me smile. Because I love shutting up white folks. Shut your goddamn mouth, cracker. Oh, yeah. All of that. And to their face. Let me explain, because I don't want to get out of place. Folks, let me explain something. I'm like this. You can ask to fuck around. I am like this in real life. I'm unafraid, unabashed, unfiltered. I don't give a fuck about their feelings. Let me tell you. And if you want to get just a piece of what puts me on fire, all you got to do is check out X and Twitter and know their desire. They don't like us, Negroes. They don't like us. They're not like us. They don't like Negroes. They have an inherent hatred for everything that is Black. And that's the reason they're always on the attack. But I tell you one thing, one of them fell the fuck back. And now it's a thing. Now it's a trend. Now everybody's rushing to make amends. Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. I'm as mad as hell. I'm as mad as hell at their sentiment, at their, at their, at their being so pearl clutchy. They're clutching they goddamn pearls, y'all. Oh, they don't like the fact that a Negro stood up and decided he was not going to be the one. And at such a young age, you think his life is done, but I don't think it's done. And we're going to delve into it. We're going to go into the mechanisms that make this a country that Negroes cannot, should not, and will never be safe in. No, 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 no. This country wasn't built for Negro safety. You better hear me, Negroes. Now, in coming up with the title, I did use the words black people. The reason I did that is because the algorithm seems to punish me for using the word Negro. And if you look at my TikTok account, that too, the Doug Rice Show, or Doug Rice Show on TikTok, every time I use the word Negro, I am penalized, I am corrected, I am checked it, I am put in time out, threatened with closure of my account. And I can tell you after number 10, I don't know how much of an amount of more TikTok accounts I can come up with. I'm running out of names. Before I begin, we're going to take a little bit of house cleaning. First, again, I will thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, share, and for God's sake, do me a favor if you're in there. Share this show and demand that others come into this one, because we're going to have a bit of a parlay. If you've read, as I recommend that you do, the description of the shows that I bring to you, it does intertwine in the lines what's going on in my mind. You'll read it, the topics that we're about to find as interesting as we can possibly make them. And today, we're going to go over, can black people be safe in this goddamned country? And again, the answer is no. It's a rhetorical question. It's a rhetorical question. Everybody knows that we are not safe, and it's all a conditional kind of safety that we enjoy. When we enjoy the safety that we enjoy, it's conditioned on a few things. Conditioned on you not being seen, conditioned on, you know what I mean, conditioned on their attitude, conditioned on their moment, conditioned on whatever drives these Neanderthals to foment. And if at any given time one of their immature kind decides to get out of line, well, they may find themselves at the end of their line, which is what happened today. That's what happened, 4 days ago. However many days ago, it was fresh in the minds of these cretins on Twitter, on X, and they, let me tell you, I'm wondering what'll happen next. I don't know. But welcome to the Doug Rice Show. Now, if you like what you hear, please feel free, bring yourselves near. Support me. Support me on these accounts. Of course, Cash App is all the one that it really hits the amount. That's really the one that I prefer. As you guys know, I've told you the backstory. I am still in litigious mechanisms. And I'm not driving, not cabbing. I'm not talking to people every day and taking people on their way. I am grounded. I am sidelined. I am on the bench. And for money and support, I do hopefully wrench my fingers and hands together and pray that you might help clear the weather of my financial need. And of course, I don't ask for much because I ain't all about that greed. But for those that do support me, I do thank you personally, Mr. Paul Patan, a dear friend of mine, who I get in such lively discussions with from time to time. Thank you so much for your support. And that support is welcome and, of course, needed and required. And call me Negro. And, of course, we have David Pickett. These are the folks that I must mention by name. David Pickett has been a stalwart of support, and I do thank you by name as well, sir. Thank you so much for your support. Katrina, who I know has to be here somewhere, my moderator extraordinaire, she as well gives the support needed. And before I move forward unimpeded, I'll also thank the Most High God of all creation for his support in sustaining the Negro nation. Goes without saying, and I ain't playing, my wife is the one that really gives me the support I need of 22 years. She does more than feed. She is the litmus test through which I pass through all of my topics and subjects and writings, and I bore her ad infinitum with all that I do. And let me tell you, she's a good woman too. Again, folks, I do thank you for being here. I thank you for your support. We're going to get into this. As I do report, can Black people be safe in America? Well, let's first examine something, shall we? Let's. What is safety? What's safety? I mean, if we're talking about being safe in this god-awful white supremacist country, what's safety look like in the definition brought to us by Google? Google says that safety is something very simple. Google says that safety is the condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. That is safety. I'll read it again. The condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. Now, the cause, if I take a pause, very interesting. Isn't that how it's placed there? Very deftly, very, very pointedly, very accurately. Safety is a two-way street. It comes from both ways. You don't want to cause it. You don't want to be a victim of lack of it. And in this respect, folks, since we are going to set aside the jokes, let me give you a little overview of what happened from NBC News. Man says son was stabbed in the heart at Texas track meet, died in twins' arms. Let's go over this. A 17-year-old student has been arrested and charged with the murder and the death of 16-year-old Austin Metcalf. High school student was charged with murder after Frisco, Texas police said he fatally stabbed another student during a confrontation at a track meet. This happened Wednesday morning. Today is Sunday. Police said that they were called to the Frisco Independent School District's Cookendale Stadium. Can't believe I did pronounce that. At about 10 a.m. after 17-year-old stabbed a 17-year-old. Now they've kind of contradicted themselves during a confrontation. Police had previously said the victim was 16-year-old. Despite life-saving measures by police and fire personnel, including CPR and the administration of blood, the 16-year-old, 17-year-old victim died. Unfortunately, tragically, sadly, 16 is too damn young. This kid could have grew up to be anything. But now he's done. Jeff Metcalf said his son, Austin Metcalf, was killed when another student armed with a knife got upset after being told he was in the wrong spot. Now I've looked into this somewhat, I've looked into this briefly. If you've taken a look at some of my posts, I've looked into this deeply, just to say the most. Metcalf said his son didn't know the student who attacked him. Yes, he did. You met him earlier at a party. Said that his brother tried to stop the bleeding, died in his hands. They were identical twins. They were goddamned bullies. That's what the fuck they were. They were known to be bullies in the school. They getting pictures taken themselves holding rifles, high-powered rifles that these white parents love to buy their god-awful demon children, pointing, posing, prodding, picking, pissed off little fucking Neanderthals that walk around with a fucking chip on their goddamn shoulders. Oh, let me just say this because I need to preface this before we move forward. This ain't a spiritual religious show, y'all. I've told you to go to TR Ministries and conduct yourselves accordingly when you see both Jacoba and Teao doing what they do as ministers. I am not a minister. I administer. Of course, I can't forget Dante Fortson because he preceded the two brothers that I listen to avidly. I think I'm a moderator on all of their shows. Appreciate that. Sister E, these are folks that you can go and be spiritually nourished. Here, I'm going to give you the fucking facts, and it ain't going to be pretty. You can count on that. Continuing. They give their kids these guns, let them pose with the guns. You know, when you give a 16-year-old, 15, 16, 17-year-old gun, the ability to take life, doesn't matter what kind of life, it's an animal life, whatever life, you give with them a fucked up ass attitude. And that's what these white people give their children. They give them the attitude that they carry with them everywhere. And these two bully ass children decided that they would determine where this black child would sit or would not sit. It is not and was not in their purview, it wasn't in their authority to open up their goddamn mouths in this young black man's direction. Doesn't matter that you told him politely or any other way. Keep your fucking mouth closed and mind your business. And that, my friends, is exactly on the mouths of parents today. Telling children who go to school tomorrow to do just that. And so perhaps something good will come of this. Lives will be saved. Obviously, we're sick of taking shit from these people. But I digress. Can black people be safe in America? Can we expect to be safe? The answer is no, we can't. But as we've delved into the definition of what safety is, we're going to ask ourselves a few things. First, what do we got to be safe from? I mean, what are we trying to be safe from? Who are we trying to be safe from? Well, we're trying to be safe from each other. Certainly, there's an issue there that we have an issue with black on black crime, as they've coined it. White on white crime being the predominant order of the day in this country, because it's every single day they're killing each other here. But they don't call it white on white crime because that just don't sound right to them and making their mind a comparative association with what the fuck they're doing to each other. They're killing each other. They're ready to have a world war. White on white crime is a global pandemic of death. So all these crackers do is kill one another. But of course, they focus on the black on black crime because it's catchy. And of course, it precedes the attitude they need to have to carry around the chip on their goddamn shoulder against us. So of course, we want to be safe from one another. But that's a given. And it's a real simple activity to keep safe from one another. Watch your fucking mouth. Don't get out of line. Be conscious of your surroundings. That doesn't take much to not get killed by a Negro. Let's just stop with the idiocy they try to pump in the minds of white folks. We are not that dangerous to one another. We are frustrated with our circumstances. We are more easily triggered than most because of that circumstance, but we're not inherently more dangerous to each other as we are to them. So let's move forward, shall we? Who are we trying to remain safe from? Well, I say we're trying to remain safe from white folks because white folks got us on their minds all day, every day, day in, day out, ad infinitum. They are thinking about Negroes, what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're acting. They want to make sure, I don't know what they're trying to make sure of, but they sure are trying to make sure of it. And they take every opportunity to intrude their nosy, busybody, trifling asses in our goddamn business. And I, for one, am just sick of them. Go the fuck away. Leave us alone. We don't need you in our business as you are so prone to be. And that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. Who knows? So safe from who? Safe from them. And we're going to get into that dynamic. We're going to get into exactly how safe you can be from white people, because I think it's a damn near impossibility, quite frankly. I don't think there's the possibility that Negroes will ever be safe from white people and their attitudes, their proclivities, their practices, their anger, their angst, all of the things that go without thanks, everything that they do that involve me and you will never be safe from these creatures. But let's move on. So we got the definition down. We got the definition of who we need to be safe from, and we got the definition of safety. But let's take it one step further. Let's talk about the black people we're talking about. See, because I used that term black people in America pointedly. I used it specifically. I used it purposefully. And the reason I did so is because now we're going to define black people. Can black people, who? What kind of black people? Well, the black people that they consider Negroes. Let's stop. You rarely hear of an African getting jumped on in this country. You rarely hear of anybody that isn't what some of us coin, a foundational black American. Those are the only folks that seem to catch it from these crackers. And I'm sick of them. I'm sick of their attitude. So when I talk about black people, I'm not talking about those that came over from the continent and here on some visa that are being sent back as quickly as Donald Trump can please them. I'm not talking about the black folks that don't associate themselves with what black people are. So I'm not talking about Senator Tim Scott. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, do you understand what I'm talking about? I'm not talking about these are black folks that carry themselves as black people, black folks with the swag, with the talk. You know what I'm saying? What's happening? How you doing? Get out my face, cracker. Leave me alone, partner. I don't know you. What's wrong with you, man? Black people, Negroes is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those that want to distance themselves from the black experience. No. So we're going to define that. So now we've defined the black people. We've defined that. We've defined safety. We've defined that. We now know who we're trying to be safe from, what that who carries that we remain to be safe from. We know these things. But now we're going to talk about what makes us unsafe. What creates the unsafe environment? I'm going to tell you. It's not our presence. You see, I used to think it was us being in close proximity to white people that made us unsafe, but it's not. And I think we need to take a look at this. It is the presence versus our existence. What makes us unsafe amongst these Cretans, amongst these Neanderthals, is our existence. You need to hang on that for a minute because it's an absolute truth. Let me tell you something, folks. We couldn't get far enough away from these creatures to be safe from them. They talk a good game when they talk about, if you don't like this country, you can just get the hell out. You just follow us and fuck with us. All you would do is track us down to wherever we were to see what we are doing because you are some nosy, trifling, busybody, intrusive motherfuckers. So don't tell me that us leaving is going to forestall all the things that go on in your weakened Neanderthal mind that cause you to do us harm. Because that's just not the case. Every black person in this country could leave this country tomorrow and white folks would find a reason to come where we are and fuck with us. And you need to stop. Proximity versus existence. Presence versus our being. Our presence and our proximity have nothing to do with our safety. They will find us. We could hide from them and they would track us down to do us harm. The reason this is because what's going on in their mind won't relent. What's happening in the white mind on a constant basis, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as black people in this country exist, is the problem they have with our existence. It serves as a reminder of what they've done to us. They tell us to forget, get over slavery, not until you do, and they never will. Firstly and foremostly, we were never supposed to get away. We were never supposed to be freed. And that's a pill these white people can't swallow, though they need to swallow that pill. Because they're extremely, exceedingly, and most definitely ill. They're ill on our escape. They're ill on our freedom. They're ill on the removal of the shackles that kept us their slaves. And every time they look deep within their own minds, they see us running free, and it fucks with these creatures. You believe me. So our presence versus our existence is what makes us unsafe. These folks don't care how close we are, how far we are. They don't like that we are. Do you understand that? I want to make myself exceedingly clear on this particular live. We are a living reminder. We are what fills their mind. They are mindful of Negroes. I need you to understand the mechanisms that go on within the white man in his mind. And it's a weakened cesspool of self-conscious being that never ends. It is constant on their minds that we are Negroes, and we existed and thrived through the most abhorrently vile mechanisms these crackers have ever put together, and we still are here, while they seem to be dwindling in number. So I fear. As we rise from the ashes of Jim Crow and of slavery and of segregation and all these things unsavory, their numbers seem to decline and they seem to be losing their goddamn mind. And if you don't believe me, I've got a book I can have you go take a look. It's called The Birth Dearth. What happens when you don't screw and make children is you vanish. And I got a book called The Birth Dearth that covers that, and I'd love anybody who's interested to order it and read it. And for God's sake, I think you'll need it. We're always on their minds. They are always obsessed with what Negroes are doing, and we could give a damn about them. You understand why we're not safe? We're not safe as long as we exist in the same time and frame that they exist. They will always haunt us, hound us. They will always be in our goddamned business, always looking at us, wondering, thinking. And you just want them to go the fuck away. At least that's my thinking. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm possibly not all there, but hey, we'll see. So we're always on their mind. We're always on their mind. But let me tell you what's also a problem and why we will not be free and safe of these creatures. I coined it here. I wrote it down. It's called two things: collective imposition and authoritative entitlement. Oh my goodness. Isn't that wonderful? Don't you love the way we can put that together, huh? Let me tell you something, folks. Collective imposition. Let me explain. I get into it with one of them online. Frequently I do it just to kind of ease my mind. It's a therapeutic mechanism for me, and I do it quite frequently. And I can go, folks. Let me tell you something. I talk you into a coma. I have done it. Do you understand? I will talk you asleep and then back awake. You'll feel refreshed. That's how I get out. I've been a telemarketer for 35 years. And during that time, I've found that no one can out-talk me. No one. Nobody. No one. I mean that. And sometimes, I get tired of them, though. I want them to be dismissed. Leave me alone now. I have toyed with you like a cat toys with a mouse, and I no longer want you in my mental house. Take your essence and yourself elsewhere. Let me tell you something what happens when you tell a white man to go. When you tell a white woman to shut the hell up and go on about her business, they become some kind of psychic superglue that gloms onto your very Negro essence and hangs onto you like a Brahma bull being ridden by a cowboy that's really good at it. And never, ever, ever will they go away until you block them. These folks have a need to be as needy as needful can be. And all you got to do is tell them to go away, and you'll see. They're bad. I mean, they're horrifically horrible in their need to impose their unwanted selves in your Negro presence. And the trigger is, leave me alone. All you got to do is tell any one of them, and I mean whether in person, online, on the phone, it doesn't matter. If I am in the presence of a white person, I tell them that I no longer wish to be in their presence. I have made a new friend. And their presence will never end. And it is impossible to rid yourself of these creatures once they understand you no longer want their presence. Again, I call it a collective imposition because they are collectively all the same goddamned way. You'll get into a conversation with them and you'll say what you have to say, and you'll want not to say anymore to this person because they're not learning anything. They're not seeing things in a specific, logical, objective, and thought-filled way. They are idiots, uneducated, unable to grasp just common relatable things. They believe the lies and all the lies bring. They believe everything their forefathers told them. And you can't get past that. You can't, because their forefathers have sold them all the lies, all the bullshit, and none of the facts. So in the face of all that, you're done speaking, and all you're looking for is the freedom you're seeking from these creatures, and they will latch on to you like a pit bull on red meat, like a hyena. And if you know anything about the bite force of a hyena, it's horrible. It's a collective imposition that they put upon Negroes. We can never be safe from people like those. We also talk about their authoritative entitlement, and that plays into the current news cycle we are witnessing today. We had a pair of children, a pair of bullies, a pair of young scallywags, as I call them, ruffians, if you will, delinquents. And you could see the delinquent nature on the faces of these two white boys. You could see that they were bullies. One reinforced the other. They constantly reinforced each other's gravitas, their need to impose their unwanted self in specific situations. And in this situation, they saw a lone black child minding his goddamn business, and they felt the need to open up their fucking mouths and say something to a stranger, somebody they don't necessarily know. And when that person resisted, when that brother said, hey man, leave me the fuck alone, there went the mechanism of imposed insistence. No matter how this brother's resistance, they needed to be white people. See? That authoritative entitlement took hold of their minds, and to such a degree that one of them finds themselves at the business end of a knife, and unfortunately, he lost his life. All because their parents armed them with the false notion that they had the authority to dictate where others would sit. Can you believe that shit? And these are teenagers. And we all know how it was in high school. At least I do, weakness draws aggression. You know what I mean? Hey man, leave me alone. That in itself, just a staunch punch in the fucking face probably would have stopped that in mid-space. Probably one of them, they'd be alive still. Because we are in the position that we're in, and we try to remain with that sillified grin, we try to be as accommodating as possible. I'm sure the brother, hey man, go fuck yourself, man. Don't tell me where to fucking sit. Who the fuck do you think you are? See, that kind of response might have taken him far. Of course, these white children, they're sent out into the world with their parents' attitudes, with their parents' proclivities, with what their parents tell them to be and to think and to act. And of course, we got a pair of them, that's the real rub in this situation. They felt confident in the numbers, 2 against 1. Fuck these motherfuckers. I'm not playing. I know you hear what I'm saying. This wasn't an act of one child, hey, excuse me, but I don't believe that you're supposed to be sitting in this section. First and foremost, can we make the connection? What business is it of yours where anyone sits? I've got some of the facts. I got the facts of this whole ordeal, and the facts are incredibly real. The facts say, and without equivocation, that these boys had no authority to tell this gentleman where to sit, where to be. Well, none of it. They simply had no authority to tell this brother where to be. They won't leave us alone. I'm trying to find out the truth about it. Here it is. So, and we're going to go through this because the truth about Carmelo, let's set the record straight. It's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. Carmelo had friends there. He wasn't trespassing or looking for trouble. This is one of my posts on Facebook. 2, the claim that one of the twins had never seen Carmelo before, a blatant lie. It was a lie. They'd seen and met before the party. 3, no student has the right to remove another student from a school-owned tent. The school owns the tent, not the twins. Let's stop there for a minute. Who the fuck do you think you are to tell me where I belong? You see, that's something you got from your parents, and it's running deep and strong within you. But I will take that notion right from you, boy. I am serious. And that's what our black man did. There was no authority given by these twins to tell this brother a goddamn thing. See, the issue is tell your children to mind their fucking business. I bet you're doing it today before they go to school tomorrow. Because I'm certain you don't want to feel that parent's sorrow. Carmelo is a track athlete. The twins are not. He wasn't even expected to see them there. Now, here's what they don't want you to know. The twins didn't just ask him to leave. They tried to jump him. Before attacking him, they tried to take his belongings, broke his phone, and stomped on it. The twins are known bullies. Of course they're bullies. Their parents have armed them to the teeth with high-powered rifles, taking photos of it. God knows what they think they are. God knows what these boys think they are in their minds. So, if you had 200-pound attackers come at your child, what do you expect your child to do? Defend himself. And if he has to, kill one of them for even attempting to try to jump on you. This is no longer, this ain't simple math anymore, folks. We in deep calculus. This is algebra times 2. This is trigonometry. This is let's go home to our parents. Who the fuck do these kids think they are? Whoever those parents told them they were. And now they're trying to play this game of innocence that their poor child was murdered by a violent black child, but they gloss over the fact that your child opened up their goddamn mouth in the first place in our business. You have no place in our business. You see us, don't say anything. Shut your fucking mouth. That's what you tell your children to do. Carmelo is a respectable, well-mannered young man, 4.0 student with multiple college offers, 0 criminal history, not even a blemish. Yeah, life was lost. And Carmelo is charged with first-degree murder. This, my friends, is what I mean when I talk about authoritative entitlement. And it starts at a very young age. And it starts with them buying guns for these demons that they call their goddamn children. And they have no business in the faces of ours. Not if they don't know how to conduct themselves. You see, of course, the caveat is, of course, you got kids that are nice. Of course, you want your kids to hang out with kids that are nice. But here's the deal. It just don't seem to be nice no more. Just doesn't seem to happen. Negroes are not safe in this country around these creatures that can't seem to get us out of their goddamn head. And now, unfortunately and tragically, one's dead. They have a perpetual hatred that never ceases. They have a perpetual hatred that never ceases against Negroes. They don't like us. That's just all there is to it. If you don't believe me, again, the safe haven for these right-wing white nationalist Neanderthals is now X, formerly Twitter. Again, I'll say it. You know, Elon Musk has created a cesspool, a petri dish, creating little neo-Nazis with, I can't even tell you the kind of vile, sadistic shit that comes out of these creatures' mouths on that platform. They are as racist as hell against Negroes, and they don't want to be around us anymore. They're voicing it. We don't want to be around these people. And you know what? Every one of them that says they don't want to be around us, I tell them to get the fuck out of this country the first chance you get. If you don't like being around Negroes, leave. Go back to Europe where the fuck you came from. No one is asking you to stay. And you notice what I get In response, there's not a single word do they say. When I invite them to leave, they shut their mouth. Very interesting how that goes. They have a perpetual hatred that never ceases. This is why we can never be safe in this country. It's not going to go away, folks. Even if we go away, the hatred for Negroes will remain. It's a hatred that seems to be driving them insane. They're in their goddamn feelings about Negroes all fucking day. And I, for one, am tired of it. I don't know about you. See, let me tell you something, because the reverse ain't true. We don't give a fuck about these crackers. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and speak plainly. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's thinking about you. Black people ain't thinking about you. What we're doing is maintaining a mindful posture against your obsession with what niggers are thinking, what they doing, what they saying. You all in our goddamn Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor. And that's just all there is to it, folks. If it was up to us, we would forget about you creatures and never think about you again. But we already know, and we ain't going to pretend. We can't go 10 feet without having to face white observation. What did you guys see it all over the internet, don't you? When you're a black person, you're never truly alone. Everywhere we go, we got white eyes on us. And they call us the danger as they put our towns underwater, as they as they get mad if one of us date their daughter. I'm sorry, I just had to go there. This is just the truth, though. These folks are inherently hate-filled creatures when it comes to Negroes, not the other way around. We don't give a fuck about you. I mean, I'm telling you that from my perspective, straight to your face. We are not thinking about you, and we'd love for you to just leave this place. If you don't like it, leave. They have a perpetual hatred for us. And that leads into the violent, dangerous, sadistic proclivities of these white people. Why can we not be safe? Because they are those three things. They are violent, dangerous, and sadistic. That is what they are. Look, let's not sugarcoat this, okay? Because I've said this before. If there was no one coming to save your black ass, if they didn't think emergency services or police or somebody that will hold them to account for their actions was coming to get involved in anything that happened to your Negro ass, these white people would try to kill us all. So stop with the sugarcoating. They're not our friends. Let me tell you what they're doing. They are doing nothing but pretending. That's it. And let's stop with the, we shall overcome this symbiotic idiocy that really has no association with the truth of the matter. If the police weren't coming to get them, we wouldn't matter. They would literally come at you. I'm going to tell you this. The power went off my house years ago. Power went off throughout the entire neighborhood. And I know people, I know nature of people. And I sat out front of my house with my handgun visible, ready for any white person, Hispanic, Latino, any person that felt that they had the right or proclivity or thought to come do me and mine harm. Because why? Because it doesn't take long for it to set in, folks. Let's stop with the nonsense. Because if it goes off long enough, the power goes off long enough, they're going to start drinking. They start drinking and they start talking, they start talking, they start thinking, and suddenly your life is in danger because they don't like Negroes inherently. Stop playing games. That's how this is. They are sadistically vile, violent creatures. And they love doing vile, violent things. When you descend from people who tie a pregnant black woman to a stake and cut her baby out and make bets on who will die first, you descend from sadistic, vile, inherently dangerous people. If you hang a black man who has the temerity to reach up to try to get his choking mechanism off the rope off of his neck and you take him down to break his arm so that he doesn't reach up again, you descend from sadistically vile creatures. If you take babies and you throw them in the mouths of alligator, you might descend from a sadistically vile, violent creature. If you burn Negroes alive after hanging them and castrating them, you might descend from sadistically vile, violent creatures. Stop pretending that they're anything less than that, because that is what they are. Why are we not safe in this country? Because the descendants of these creatures are all around us. And they go about their day smiling and being cordial, being civil, because they know that if they're not that way, there will be consequences they may pay. But if there were no consequences, well, there might be action. Why are we not safe? Our children, our women, and our elderly are their prime targets. Our children, our women, and our elderly. If you ever notice, they don't come at the hammers that know how to hit a nail. No, they go toward our children, our elderly, and our women without fail. That's who they go first. They'll slap one of our sisters till one of them beats their goddamn asses. They'll assault and threaten our children until one of them takes their fucking life. Shit, they'll be on a bus and get in the face of one of our elders until they beat the goddamn piss out of them and throw them off the fucking bus. Oh, you guys know every reference I'm talking about. That's what they go after, but they don't go after the heavy hitters, the hammers. They don't go after the virile 30-something-year-old that will pack and punch and put a bullet in their ass. No, they do everything to steer clear. Why aren't Negroes safe in this country? That's why, because they are very selective in who they go after. Now, let me just address this real quick because I know I'm running long, but I think we have a fairly decent live and I want to keep it going strong. They say that we're violent. You know what? Okay, fine. I'm violent. You want to say I'm violent? Fine. I'm violent. Okay, cool. But here's the problem I have with that accusation. Okay. Everything that we learned about violence, we learned from their fucking asses. Let me explain this so that they understand, where this is coming from. When they took us from where we were, from our land, when they gathered us together, the first thing they wanted to do is make sure to strip us of our identity, teach us their foul fucking language, which I love throwing back at them at light speed. But more importantly, they, by example, taught us the ways of violence and violent nature. They were as vile and violent as they could be to Negroes, and all those of us that survived their violence watched them be violent. And through that watching, we learn, because we are learners by what we see. We are perfect at mimicry. And so when you talk about how violent Black people are in this country, you have nobody to thank but your fucking selves, white people. You taught us violence. You see, you can't enslave and subjugate a vile and violent population. It's impossible. You couldn't do it with the natives that were here. You had to kill them all and then put them on reservations, or so I hear. So don't tell me how violent Negroes are. No. What you do is you understand that anything that we learned regarding violence, we learned from you, European, Neanderthal, Edomite, heathen motherfuckers. You have you corner the market on violence. You want to see violence, all you got to do is watch a white man. You better believe it. And if they are watching us imitate them, then don't fucking complain. Don't complain. Don't open up your rancid ass mouths telling Negroes, oh, you're so violent. We're violent because you taught us violence. We're violent because you gave us the perfect example of exactly what violence is. This is the reason we got Negroes walking around talking about, my name is John Gotti, I'm Nitty, I'm all these other people. They call themselves by the names of you vile, violent creatures. And so we act the same as you. So don't get in your fucking feelings when one of us decides to act out in kind. Because, this is just what you put on our mind. Don't tell us we're violent. Why can't we be safe in America? Can Black people be safe in America. Well, let me say this, folks. They want to kill us all. Let's just stop. They don't want us to leave. They want us to be removed from existence. And it's sad to say that even if they killed all of us, they'd still hold within them the hatred they have for what used to be. They can't kill off what is inside of them without them being removed from the face of the earth. And that, my friends, is where the next thought gives birth. The final solution. The final solution is coming. It will not be by the hands of Negroes. The final solution, as I have read in scriptures, is their removal from very existence. Hey, listen, what are you going to do with a group of people that will not stop hating you for no reason? We've not done anything to these malevolent pieces of human garbage that call themselves white people. We've done nothing to them as they have done to us. We have done nothing to deserve sitting back of the bus. We have done nothing to them. And let me tell you something. If we had put upon them what they have put upon us over the 400 years or so, there would be no lengths to which they would go to get retribution. There'd be nothing they wouldn't do to get payback. It would always be on their minds until the end of goddamn time. And don't you let them tell you anything different. This whole, that was slavery, was years ago. You need to forget about that. You need to get over slavery. You wouldn't. You wouldn't get over slavery. You wouldn't get over the killings, the rapes, the castrations, the burning alive, the sex farms, the taking of children, the raping. You wouldn't get over any of that. You wouldn't get over a band of hooded black men that come into your neighborhood, burning crosses on your front yard, dragging your wife out and killing her before raping her, and then, killing you and hanging your children. You wouldn't get over that. Cracker, don't you tell me to get over what your forefathers have done to us. How dare you? Every last one of these white folks, if black people were in the position they were in, would go out of their way. There'd be a guerrilla force we'd have to fight. These fools would turn into God knows what, man. It would be beyond what we do. And let me just say that because it is absolutely true. Why can't we be left alone in this goddamn country from white people? Because they have a fucking problem. That's why. And the problem is history. The problem is their history, who they are, what they represent. And I could go on and on and on without relent. I could itemize piece by piece all of the things that they've done. But I'd be here all day, and folks, I gotta run. They won't ever leave us alone, folks. I'm gonna end this on that note. They will never leave us the fuck alone. Do you understand that? We could shut up, we could go away, we could move out, we could leave the country, we could vanish. They'd find us, they'd seek us out, and they'd have something to say about what we're doing. Because it is baked into their DNA to hate Negroes every day. And that's what they do. And so the answer to our question, as we finalize this meeting together, is that there is no safe place that Negroes can go. There is no safety that we will ever know until they are no longer. The only way that we grow stronger. I wait for that day. I know it's coming. And they know it's coming too. This is the reason they're putting themselves what they're putting themselves through. This is the reason they're frantically trying to do everything to destroy the country they love so much, because they know there is a comeuppance coming, and thus and such. Listen, you can't create the kind of history, the vacuum created with the murder and the genocide and the killings and the taking of land and all the stealing and robbing and all the things that make up these people's makeup. You can't do that and expect there not to be payback. And that's what they're running from. They see the horizon of their comeuppance coming. And in retrospect, the running start running. And they're trying to run away from the inevitable. But it's set in stone. It's another reason they won't leave us alone. And thus endeth the lesson. Thus endeth the lesson. I do hope you appreciate the topics I'm addressing. My name is Doug Rice. I do appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening to the stent of my rhyme. I have this cadence and way of speaking, and I don't know. I think it's starting to peak. I don't know. But I appreciate it. Listen, can Black people be safe in America? The answer is no. And the answer is no for the reasons that we've gone over. These folks have a problem. It's a problem that was not caused by us. It's a self-imposed problem that they can never deal with, but must be dealt with by the Almighty God of creation that is en route. And as I thank the Most High Creator of all things, Yahuwah, God of Negroes, all of this will be coming to a close. But when that happens, nobody knows. Thank you again for being here. I do thank you for lending me your ear. Please like, subscribe, and share this live. And for God's sake, folks, try to strive to stay as safe as you can. Keep an eye on your children. Keep an eye on all of these things. And I appreciate you being here. I'll see you next Sunday. And do me a favor. Get that goddamn grin off your faces. Gotta go.